Councilmember Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. Out of an abundance of caution, the city attorney has asked me to recuse myself from items 7 and 40 due to the fact that I'm a landlord. Additionally, I'm recusing myself from item 8 because I'm uncertain of the developers working on the project. Lastly, I'm recusing myself from items 10 and 60 because my wife's employer has worked with an applicant on that item. 7, 40, 8, 10, and 60.
Duly noted, and we will make sure to take those items separately. Councilmember Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be joining Councilmember Price in recusing on items 7 and 40 in that I do own rental property in the city.
Okay, so noted. Okay, what's next?
And Mr. President, before we move on, Camille Lewis, I did hear you shouting out while we were trying to, or while CD1 was trying to start her comments on the item. This is your only formal warning through this meeting. Please do not interrupt this meeting. Go ahead.
Before you move on, I just noticed we have an illustrious visitor with us here today. Former Councilmember Paul Koretz is here. Let's acknowledge Mr. Koretz. You've got your fans. All right. Thank you very much. All right, let's proceed with public comment.
Goat Puppet, Amanda Adams, Stacy Cigar Bollinger, Mike Hawk, Blue Man, Hugh, Jay, Anita, Audit LA, Rob Kwan, Carlos Moroccan, Lori Lathrop, Mike Molina, Rigo Godinez, Ada Brasino.
I would like to request a Spanish interpreter during my general public comment.
Good morning. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment.
And with the interpretation in general public comment. 41. 梦中人，熟悉的脸孔，你是我守候的温柔。就算泪水淹没天地，我不会放手。等待花开，春去春又来，无情岁月笑我痴狂。心如钢铁，任世界荒芜，思念永相随。42。万事沧桑，唯有爱是永远的神话。潮起潮落，始终不会真爱的相约。几番苦痛的纠缠，多少黑夜挣扎，紧握双手，让我和你再也不离分。悲欢岁月，唯有爱是永远的神话，谁都没有遗忘古老的誓言。你的泪水化为漫天飞舞的彩蝶，爱是一夏之风，两心相随自在飞。43. 이제 나의 손을 잡고 눕고 감아요. 우리 사랑해란 나도 생각해봐요. 우리 너무 사랑해서 아팠었네요. solo sola 한단 말도 못 줬었네요. 让爱成为你我 我心中那永远盛开的花，穿越时空绝不低头，永不放弃的梦。우리 너무 사랑해서 아팠었네요. solo sola 한단 맛도 못 뒀었네요. 你是我心中唯一美丽的神话。General public comment. Soy mujer, soy blanca. Soy mujer blanca.
I am a woman. I am a white woman.
Amo a la gente blanca.
I love white people.
Uso pronombres femeninos.
I use female pronouns.
Uso baños femeninos.
I use women clothing.
Uso ropa femenina.
I use women clothing.
Deja de llamarme hombre.
Stop calling me man.
Empieza a llamarme mujer.
Start calling me woman.
Deja de ser sexista.
Do not be sexist.
Respeta mi género.
Respect my gender.
Respeta mis pronombres de género.
Respect my gender pronouns.
Respeta mi derecho a ser una mujer blanca.
Respect my right to be a white woman.
Mr. City Attorney, why my clock was
Speaker,
never
your
stopped?
time has expired.
Su tiempo terminó. Porque mi reloj nunca se paró.
I go by Audit LA. Do we still have quorum? Because it looks like it looks very empty, and it looks like everyone's so sleepy
And
today.
which items would you like to speak
I
to?
want all items, but it's going to be 16, 19, 20, and public comment. So please give me 3 minutes. Hope
So
everybody's awake enough.
Some
to-
of those items are not open for public comment, so let me just repeat for everybody in the room. The items that are open for public comment are items 34 through 38, 40 through 64, and item 65.
While I was over at the police commission, I think I missed a little bit of that. Basically, which committees are they for?
Sorry, I can't, you have to hold the microphone closer.
Okay, well, basically, we should be able to talk. I'm looking at this agenda. I mean, I want to talk on what I came to talk about.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 minutes for the items because that's what you requested, but you need to stick to those items. You can
Yeah,
speak
I'm
to
going to
anything
speak to
else
human,
during
right,
general,
I
so
came
go
here,
ahead.
it's on the agenda, it's not my problem that you took it off. Okay, I'm here to speak about human trafficking and the LAPD that is doing human trafficking reports. People have been coming to you, to every single branch of government here about the human
So I
trafficking.
don't
I know,
believe
well,
that
it
this
is
is
on
open
the agenda though, sir.
So it is not open for public comment. So if you'd like to, you can speak to it during
How
general.
is it on the agenda
But
and it
please
not?
speak to the items that are open for public comment first.
Okay, well, whatever's on the agenda, you know what, I'm just gonna go to public comment, you guys
so
are
you have 1 minute.
ridiculous.
Go ahead.
Okay, and you're not gonna like it, because now I'm really mad. The other day, okay, I was in a committee meeting that was run by Ms. Padilla, and they broke the Brown Act with Mr. McCosker as well. See, I was trying to be nice and talk about human trafficking and stuff, but since, you cut me off, we'll just do that. They broke the Brown Act. And I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with just the behavior. Even here, like, look how everyone, is that Miss Rahman over there having sidebar conversations? This one over here is shuffling her papers. Miss Padilla, shuffling papers. At least Mr. McCosker, I'll give him credit. He's looking me straight in the eye because he knows I'm here talking about him. I'll give him credit. And Ms. Hernandez, is that Miss? I gave her credit too because she tried to stop. I believe she tried to stop Miss Padilla. Goat Puppet certainly tried to stop him, saying, hey, you're committing a crime. They didn't care, and so that's on them. But I'm not going to forget, and I'm not going to let it die. So Ms. Padilla, do better. Mr. McCosker, please do better.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
All items, please, and general public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
Okay, let's start with 34. So we have a so-called independent charter reform commission. Councilmember Rahman loves to tout this independent charter reform commission at meetings when she's giving speeches and talking about how much she's worked to bring transparency and accountability to the body. But then we look at how the commission is being formed, and we have the mayor and this body appointing Krikorian's deputy chief of staff, who also used to work for Nuri Martinez. I don't see him in the room, but I'm wondering if Paul plans on recusing himself from this vote, considering that's a staff member. And while I see Councilmember Rahman engaged in conversation and not paying attention right now, I wonder if she will continue to use this commission to say, look at everything we've done, without actually acknowledging the corruption of the people being placed by our current electeds in this commission. We should be putting neighborhood council executive committee members on this commission. We should really be filling it out with only neighborhood council board members, because they are a grassroots elected body.
Speaker, please move on to another item.
Okay, so we have several items on this agenda today for ceremonious and commendatory things. We have motions $438 at a time. I guess the cost to light up City Hall has increased. Finance and Budget Committee Chair Bob Blumenfeld admitted at the recent budget day he doesn't know why it costs $400 to light up City Hall. I guess he probably doesn't know why that price increased, or why the recognition for October 7th is slated at $1,462, unlike the other items, which are $438 total. We have $4,528 worth of lighting City Hall up on this agenda, and that's as we are approaching a budget deficit where our reserves are getting dangerously low, but no one on this council is willing to say, hey, maybe let's stop throwing an arbitrary $400 at the building every time we want political points for a cause.
General public comment.
Now and then I think of all the ways you screw us over. Like last Friday when you spent 3 hours on presentations. We shouldn't have to live that way. We can't believe a word you say. You just want us to let it go while you compromise with race. It's your dissent was all for show. You were supposed to cut him off after everything that happened and the leaked recordings. You said that you would break quorum. Now he's serving on committees and that feels so dumb. Remember how he stooped so low, compared a black child to property among other things, while they gerrymandered us. Nobody on this council really gives a fuck. Nobody on this council, do you give a fuck? Fuck you all, sincerely. Fuck Kevin De Leon, who's a raging racist. Shout out to Smoke and Scan and Brock Landers. Hope you guys are doing well.
Good morning. So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
Thank you, you dog-eating ambulance chaser. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see, where do we start here? There's so much shit here, I can't even begin to shuffle it. Where do we start on that? Jesus Christ, everything is gone here. Let's see, we'll just keep turning the pages here. While I'm turning the pages, I'll play some music like Donald Trump. Here we go. CD 14, yay. Yeah, it's Kevin, Mr. DeLion. Where is he today? He's out partying. Fuck item 33 then. Yes, be here, Kevin. All right.
Item number 3 is not open for public comment. It was continued.
No, I
so
believe-
please speak to the items.
I think the farm animal said 33. Yeah, I said 33.
So you did, and item number 33 is not open for public comment. So
All
please
right.
stick to the items. I'm going to move you to general.
How about the Charter Reform Commission? We got Anna. That sounds like a useless pile of shit. The director of the Charter Reform Commission. What are you going to reform? What is it, prison reform? Fuck that item. And then number 35, fuck the board of Pueblo de Los Angeles Monument. Fuck them. And then Jude Law, number 36. Fuck Jude Law. Then we got number 37, the Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio. Why, he hasn't done anything in his life since being there with Pat Morita, you know, the one that used to own Arnold's. Yes. Fuck Ralph Macchio. And fuck the fucking Karate Kid. Then we have Irving Azoff. Fuck Irving Azoff. Fuck the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And fuck Paul Koretz. 39. Then we have the CPUC. Fuck the CPUC.
Item number 39 has been continued as well. This is your last warning. Please stick to the items or I'm going to move you to general public comment.
You never tell us.
I said it at the top of public comment.
Yes. Yes. Now we have CD1, 41. That's a Unisys item. She's here. All right, I'll support it. That's amazing. Number 42. Fuck the City Charter Reform Commission. What the fuck are you doing? We don't want to reform anything here. We just want to have a city council that continues to bleed the taxpayers out of the asshole with higher fees and commit more corruption. That's why nobody pays attention, except for that fat-headed fucking attorney up there. And now for the public comment. Yes, the return of the scumbag, the CD5 scumbag, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Koretz is in the house. Let's give him a hand. Boo! Boo! Yes, you're a nobody there, Paul. And you know what? Do you still have that rent-controlled apartment? Or did you go back to West Hollywood where you really live? And has Tracy Park tried to pump you for information? Is she an informant? I wouldn't trust her if I were you. She used to have another name. And of course, all of you wondering, who's the next council criminal to be indicted? Who goes to prison next? Let's take a look. I have it right here on the phone. And the answer is, Stepper B has a 44% chance of being indicted next. Oh, all right. Wow, that's amazing. Yes, that's right. And Current Price knows what it's like to be indicted. It's terrible to be indicted. You sit in your chair all day. Everybody's questioning you, what you're doing.
So, Mr. Spindler, your timer started late, but I've been keeping track. So
What?
your 1 minute is expired.
asshole.
So next
I
speaker.
still have...
No, your timer was not started at the beginning, but you have gotten your 1 minute. So please vacate the podium so we can move on to the next speaker. All right, so you're now disrupting this meeting. This is your first and only warning. I've asked you politely to please vacate the podium and explained what happened with the timer. Next speaker. Good morning.
My name is Lori Lathrop, and I am up here for 65 and public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for public comment. And if you could just pull the microphone a little bit closer so we can hear you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I appreciate your time. My name is Lori Lathrop. I am on the Harbor City Neighborhood Council. Again, I am speaking on 65. I want to inform you that I received my first email in regards to Silver RV Park on February 16th with an introduction to Danye and Stewart from our Field Deputy Desi Sarcona. On February 20th, I received another email with a response from Danye inquiring about coming to the March HCNC meeting, where I replied twice, once letting Danye know that I would get them on the agenda, second asking for a brief description of their presentation for the agendized item. I reached out again by email on May 23rd to Danye, extending another invitation to come to the HCNC meeting and give a presentation. I never received any responses from the emails I sent. However, in June, I received a phone.
General public comment. Go ahead. Continue.
I received a phone call from Mr. Stewart and had discussed Silver RV coming to the July meeting. Upon completion of this phone call, it was planned for Silver RV to come give a presentation, just awaiting confirmation of names that will attend the meeting. I never received any confirmation. After several attempts, they never showed up or wanted to come give our community any type of presentation on this. I'm asking you all to please physically come down and look at the other properties and what is going on in our neighborhood. I appreciate you all very much. Thank you.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
My name is Mike Molina, and I'm speaking on item 65 and general public comment, please.
So you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. President and members of the City Council. My name is Mike Molina, and I'm a 35-year resident of Harbor City in the 15th Council District. Today in closed session, you'll be considering an item relative to Councilmember McCosker's efforts to advocate for our neighborhood, and we're grateful to him, and we ask for your careful consideration also. The implications to this development in question are not new. I suspect each of you has faced this before. That is, a development project that you know will possess a significant negative impact to a neighborhood unless conditions are put in place. That's why we, the city, have a conditional use process. Developments like an RV park in a residential neighborhood require extra review. Issues like parking, security, lighting, ingress, egress,
General
open
public comment.
space, setback, hours of operation. This is just what a conditional use permit provides. It also requires land use owners and developers to work with the impacted neighbors, something Councilmember McCosker's requested, but the owner chose to ignore over and over again. My neighborhood is asking you to stand with Councilman McCosker to do what is right, to require a CUP for this project. For if it can happen to us, it won't be too long before it happens to you in your district too. Please, please consider applying a conditional use permit to this project so that we can work with the developer in working for something that works for us in our neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Each one of you battled consistently to be in the positions that you were in, and not one of you at any point in time ever grew up without the need of somebody's help. In reviewing that 2022 scandal, this over weekend, Eunice, you were standing right here looking at Gil, just like how I've been looking at you. We went to the same high school. You were a grade apart, and I was president of that high school every single year. Your team members were associated in my classrooms, in our community projects. You can shrug your face. So I can understand that maybe you're not in charge, but somebody else is within your districts. And it's obvious for Kevin De Leon. So if you're gonna do the same thing that was done with this promise zone for, as Nina Martinez said, for us, as they did with Slate Z, and I'll talk more again on that tomorrow.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
42, 34, and general public comment.
Okay, so you have 2 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
And if you could make sure Bob's listening back there, the first item is directed towards him because this is for the Charter Reform Commission's budget, devoting an initial allotment of $500,000. I know that there's more to come, but important to note that nearly half of that is going to be covered by the executive director's salary. We've got a lot of work to do in a little over a year, and we're already behind schedule. We only have 2 out of our first 8 commissioners approved, and I got nightmares from 2021 redistricting because Nuri Martinez and Paul Krikorian refused to give the redistricting commission its full budget until we were nearly done with the public hearing process. And that undermined the outreach abilities of the commission, that undermined our interpretation services. Ultimately, we got more than enough money, but it came too late. For item 34, this is the executive director for the Charter Reform Commission. And this isn't an easy job to fill, and you always kind of have to balance independence and experience. There's a lot in this city you can only learn through experience, and if this were for a choice of a commissioner, I might have some different thoughts, but we really just need competent leadership and staffing here. And I think back to 2021 redistricting when Andrew Westall served on the LAUSD Commission immediately after serving on council as a staffer. And ultimately, I was quite envious of the LAUSD Commission because they actually got their work done. They had less money, they were far more efficient with it, and they actually got agendas out in time. They actually ensured documents were posted on time. And that's something that has plagued the charter reform process with this council. So just looking forward to seeing Anna up there, somebody that I met for one of my first meetings at City Hall. She was with Matt Hale and was just blown away by how well prepared they were, what kind of understanding they had of the layers of bureaucracy. And I would just say to the members, she knows more than probably half of you. So it's a good person to have in there. To close, I just want to talk about redistricting, the thing that you'll only want to talk about behind closed doors. And note that if you don't act quickly on that, the opportunity for independently redrawing those lines before 2026 will fade away. And I want to just throw out an idea. I know you don't like council expansion, at least most of you, but drawing fair maps with 15 districts is not possible. And maybe, just maybe, you could convince Rob Bonta to hold off and let you implement it in 2028, and we get ourselves an opportunity to expand the council so we can draw lines that are actually fair and a little bit less disruptive for all of you.
My name is Carlos Marroquin. I'm speaking on item 40 and comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item. Go ahead.
Los Angeles has the largest population of homeless veterans in the country, with many of them struggling to afford housing due to soaring rent prices. Veterans are particularly vulnerable to homelessness because many live in fixed incomes, such as disability and retirement benefits that don't rise with increasing rents. Proposition 33 will allow the city to expand rent control to more housing units, including those built after 1995. It will give the city the tools it needs to help veterans afford stable housing and preventing them from being displaced. I'm speaking to you as a veteran today and also as a community organizer. Our veterans are suffering out there in the streets. We don't need more veterans to end up in the streets. I urge the City Council to get serious about veterans' issues and vote yes on item 40, Proposition 33. Thank you.
My name is Hilda Delgado. I'm here on behalf of the Prop 33 campaign, urging the City Council to support Councilmember Hugo Martinez's motion to endorse this measure. It used to be that owning a home was the California dream. Well, now it's renting an apartment. And as you know, current law bans local communities from expanding rent control. The last time the California legislature amended the California law was more than 30 years ago. It was done by Governor Pete Wilson, and it was written literally by the California Apartment Association. So rents have skyrocketed since 1995. Right now, California has more people who are rent burdened than anywhere else in the United States. 55% of Californians are paying over 30% of their paychecks on rent. Rent increases are far outpacing wages in Los Angeles and California, so I urge you a yes vote on 33. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
I'd like to speak to item 33.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item. Go ahead.
And my name is Paul Koretz, and a little bit of a history lesson. Before I was on the LA City Council, 40 years ago, I helped to found the city of West Hollywood, and I was an early council member there. The city was created specifically to pass a strong rent control and to protect thousands of low-income seniors from being evicted and winding up not being able to pay their rent. We were there to continue also protecting affordable housing. So when someone vacated a unit and they were paying $600 a month, the next person would pay $600 a month. But when Costa-Hawkins passed in 1995, rents would automatically be decontrolled. So instead of paying $600, the next person would pay $1,500 or $2,000 or $2,500. And this single piece of legislation over 30 years has led to the skyrocketing in rents that we've all seen across the city. So Prop 33 would overturn that, would allow cities to maintain affordable housing at current rates. It's critical that we start to get a handle on homelessness. The Costa-Hawkins legislation was partly responsible for our thousands of homeless that can't afford the $3,700 plus that an average rental costs in the city of Los Angeles. So I ask you to support Prop 33.
1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general
Thank you,
public
council
comment.
members. My name is Bob Mingle. I live in Green Meadows West. We were blindsided by this project of this RV park by Mr. Silvers. He never, nothing was ever put in front of the neighborhood or was ever introduced to the neighborhood about this RV park being introduced to our neighborhood. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do in the process of this coming in. What we did is we formed a group on our own and we started communicating. We started sending letters to our councilman in 1-5 to notify him that this was going in. Of course, they were already aware of it was going in. During this process, this going in, things started happening at this park, this lot. He had a security guard there that informed me when I first found out about this. He flew out of his RV like Superman and said, "This is a luxurious RV park. There are going to be luxurious RVs in here, new RVs. It's going to be beautiful, all this." Well, as we see today, that is a total different introduction to this park RV lot. Right after we found out about this,
General public comment.
right after we found out about this, police started showing up this parking lot. Mr. Silver started forcing the security guard to start doing harder work because he wanted to finish by June 30th and have his lot put in. He started introducing RVs into this lot without his occupancy permit. We started having arguments with the neighbors. He started arguing with the neighbors. He was chewing them out, calling profanities, all kinds of bad things. There's been violations done. There was a huge explosion done on this lot. It was not fireworks. It was not nothing. The kid did something in there. He blew something up. I was standing right there by the wall. I heard it. 40 neighbors came out. Even some of the people here heard it. I highly urge that the council take the time out and visit this RV park and see it for yourself and see what it is. It will give you a whole different perspective on this. Building and Safety has let us down. We've complained to Building and Safety. They've never responded to any of our calls and any of our complaints. We've tried and tried and tried.
So, Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker.
Yes, okay, thank you. I just wanted to speak on behalf of Green Meadows West and just let them know that I am a member of the Harbor Gateway Chamber of Commerce. I'm a volunteer, and I have helped, along with Dave Matthews, for the homeless. And you really cannot just have an RV park without having wraparound services or any sort of wastewater treatment or egress, ingress. You really need to have social services, mental health. They're throwing these RVs in there, and there's literally we don't know what we're dealing with as far as mental health or any conditions that they may have physically. I feel like it's a real disservice to those who are homeless because they're taking this as an opportunity to live there, not realizing that they're being taken advantage of. And I really just think that it's horrible, and we really need to look into what's going on here in Green Meadows West. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. My name is Jerry Long in Green Meadows, and I'd like to speak to item 65 in general comments.
So you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the item.
Good morning and thank you. We of Green Meadows object to the use of a former oil well property turned into a super high density commercial for-profit business under the guise of an RV lot with no notice, no input from the local community, with the use that does not conform with any other property use in the neighborhood and currently has virtually no regulations. This space, zoned as the surrounding community, exists should contain 4 single-family homes or 8 condominiums. Into this 25,000 square foot area, the city is going to allow 39 RVs used for residences that would allow up to 273 individuals and 78 dogs, all done with a hand wave by the city building department with no environmental or safety review. This many residences would equal 11% of the entire Green Meadows West community. Imagine a fire, which has happened in similar areas nearby. How are 250 people and pets going to egress?
General public comment.
Going to egress the area while propane tanks are exploding, and the fire department cannot get through into this tiny area. This is not a park. It is not a park. This is not located in the middle of some recreational area. This is a high-density, for-profit parking lot with no regulation, no green space, no environmental safety review, and very little tax base is going to return to the community. It is dropped in a neighborhood surrounded by single-family homes of hardworking taxpayers of this city. This is a community-damaging mistake and needs to be stopped. Thank you very much.
Okay, despite passing all inspections and complying with every regulation, a vocal group of residents has opposed this RV park based on unfounded fears. Councilman McCosker has supported these NIMBY, not in my backyard attitudes, favoring those against the park while ignoring the needs of the vulnerable families it would serve. This isn't just unethical, it's a violation of the city's own goals to provide affordable housing. Every neighborhood and every district has to take part in providing affordable housing options. We can't just push these solutions away. We all share the responsibility of addressing the housing crisis. My child was supposed to have a stable home and school routine once we moved into the RV park. But because of the delays, that didn't happen. Without a permanent address, I couldn't register her for school on time, and her education has been disrupted. We've been forced to move around and park our RV on the street, and it's been hard for her to focus and succeed in school. The councilman's actions have caused real harm to families like mine, and this housing could have provided the stability we desperately
General public
need.
comment.
I also find the moral and ethical implications of these opposing residents and the city's actions to be deeply questionable. And to answer your question, my family would have been the ones that you guys were dealing with. Not insane people, not people with mental health problems, me and my daughter, who now don't have anywhere to live.
Kate Ussel, public comment, and item 40.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item. Go ahead.
I am a small landlord in Los Angeles. Our units are under rent control, and we are doing just fine. We work with our tenants. I had a tenant who collapsed and was in a coma. They fell behind in their rent. It took them 3 years to catch up, but they did, and they did not become homeless. We have had our share of problem tenants too, but we dealt with that. The world needs landlords like us, landlords who care about their tenants. We came to Los Angeles when we had active rent control here. We were able to buy modest investments before Costa-Hawkins in 1995. Our family would not be able to invest in today's real estate market in LA or probably anywhere in the country. Greedy, uncaring corporations and those who cater to them
General public comment.
have made that impossible. And they are creating and making the homeless crisis worse. We small landlords need rent control. We need the stability for us, and we need our tenants and for our tenants to survive. We need affordable real estate. Oops. You must endorse Proposition 33. Most of your voters need rent control. We all need rent control. Yes on 33. And go Dodgers!
Nicole Paulson Kahane for item 65 and public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm here for my kids and my beloved community, for their safety and for our future. I'm here speaking from my heart. I'm scared and afraid for what this development has, if it's allowed, in our community, for all of our safety as a whole. This developer has a past and does not follow the rules. He is for his benefit alone, not for all of the public, not for all of the people. This developer has multiple other projects that are very concerning. One of them being Ocean's 12 RV Park off Young Street in Wilmington, which he currently holds the deed of trust as the lender for this property, and it's under investigation by the city for health and safety code violations and overcrowding. Pacific RV Park, he developed and sold,
General
is
public
located
comment.
off McFarland in Wilmington, which had a fire destroying 5 mobile homes. Cali Lakes RV Resort in Santa Clarita, owned by this developer, where he illegally expanded into flood and fire zones with health and safety code violations, and is currently before the Board of Supervisors for violating the 90-day stay ordinance in place. And now we turn to our project, being developed on 9 recently capped oil wells in a methane zone that's exempt from CEQA, that pumped oil from 1921, it was pumping. There are no rules or regulations. This developer does not comply with any rules. Even after the motions to stop, he submitted supplemental permits, and including new plans, and proceeded to build on those, even though they were not issued. Please, 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 come and see all of his projects. I have pictures also, if I'm allowed to give.
So,
Okay.
Speaker, your time's expired, but
Thank
if
you
you'd like
very
to
much.
share any documents, including photos, you can give them to the sergeants. Next speaker.
I've been in Los Angeles quite a long time. I came here in 1968 to 69, and we didn't have that many homeless per capita here. Used to have to go to Skid Row, and there'd just be a sprinkling of homeless other places. But since then, the percentage of people who are homeless and the count of people who are homeless has gone up, 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 up. The big difference I see is when Costa-Hawkins was passed and rent control updates were frozen. Rent control was frozen where it was then in 78, and when that happened, we began to see, if you look at the graph before then, it goes along about like this, and then all of a sudden it's climbing, climbing, climbing. Rent control is a saving measure for people being homeless. The biggest difference in Los Angeles has really been lack of rent control and targeting of rent control apartments. I'm a small landlord. I have a couple of older units. They're under rent control. We're doing just fine. We set the rent at approximate market rate. At the time we set rent for, we got a raise that about equals cost of living. Everybody's fine. It creates a level playing field and stability, which I'm a small landlord. That's what we have in our pocket to keep us going, that stability. Corporate landlords, they don't care if it's rented or not because they're living off the value of the building. It is a terrible situation. Corporate landlords and a government that does their bidding too often are an engine of homelessness for our city.
Okay, before the next speaker begins, Ms. Rocha, please do not yell out during someone else's public comments. This is your only warning.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. My name is Susan Rocha. I live in CD1. I would vote no for 33 and 34 since that's not going to help either side. And nobody knows what's in those details that's buried. And it's really going to hurt a lot of people on both sides of the issue. But besides that, I'll go to General.
So you have 1 minute.
Hey, Hernandez, shame on you for supporting Divine Savior Catholic Church. They took me to court for a bogus crime. I was found not guilty by trial people, and Priest Albert prosecutes me on the stand for the prosecution. That's not right. That's cruel. And you went over there and you supported them. Shame on you. There's 2 child molester priests came out of that church, Divine Savior. Shame on you. And their sister church in Elysian Valley. Where's Hugo? Yeah, with Priest Albert. Yeah, he's in charge over there now, but 2 molester priests came out of Divine Savior at St. Anne. Shame on you for supporting them. And all I want is peace and quiet in my home, but you wouldn't go over there and talk to them about their noise problem with the amplified sound system and the tape recorders in my house blasting all day long. You wouldn't do that, but you go and kiss their ass over there, Divine Savior. They're not voters, and they don't even live there, so you're wasting your goddamn time on them.
Speaker, your time has expired. Okay. Speaker, your time has expired.
Thank you, Councilmember Lee. So it is my distinct honor and privilege to take a moment to welcome to the City of Los Angeles and our council chambers members of the Parisian General Delegation for the Olympic and Paralympic Games, as well as employees from the City of Paris, all of whom worked on the 2024 Games, and some of whom have been at this now for more than 7 years. I think many of you know I had the opportunity to travel with Council President Emeritus Krikorian and Councilmember Yaroslavsky, as well as Mayor Bass and her team, to Paris in March. And some of us had the opportunity to go again for the end of the Games. The Parisian delegation welcomed us with open arms. And through their innovative host cities experience, they actually created training programs for us to attend so that we could benefit from their years of planning and learning and bring those best practices right here back to Los Angeles as we get ready to host the Olympics in 2028.